Last year I set myself a challenge: buy 100 Nintendo Switch games to add to my curated collection of greats. The goal was simple: a list of 100 games that I felt was a great addition to my Switch collection. However, as you can probably see, I've not quite made it yet. Somewhere along the way the quest took a little bit of a turn. It got more and more difficult to justify buying games at full price at CEX. That's if they even had stock in. Not to mention the fact I've been going on GameCube hunts. That doesn't mean that the Switch Collection Challenge is dead. In fact, a few amazing titles have joined the ranks that I never expected to add. So in today's video we're going to look at the Switch Collection Quest, how it's doing, where we're going to go with it, and how I've getting on. The basis for this collection has always been to imagine a library of great games. Someone could come in, pull a game out and have a great time playing it. Of course, that list was geared towards my tastes, but I quickly discovered that the Switch library is just so much more than what I initially thought, with titles I never expected to love taking centre stage in my collection. Of course, I want to play every game I buy, so I did slow down when I realised I was staring down the barrel of about 20 or 50 hour games. But without further ado, let's have a look at some of the titles I have picked up. The first game I picked up was Octopath Traveler, and this was a pick up in Ripon Electric Town. Now I actually believe that that retro shop is actually closed down since I went, which is why I've never went back. I think it's moved down to Castleford. They've kind of merged two shops into one. But this was one that I originally owned on the Nintendo Switch back when it first released, and I had it as a collector's edition. If I'm honest, I'm not going after collector's editions. As you can probably tell, I do not have the space to have collector's editions, multiple collections of games, and an anime figure collection. And I sold it, but I still wanted to have it. Now, I never came across Octopath Traveler 2. It's a game I've not actually played yet. But Octopath Traveler, it was a nice pick-up, it was fairly cheap, it was a nice addition to the collection. Another one I picked up which I really wanted was again an early Nintendo Switch title, and that was Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Now I picked this up at a Sunderland CEX game hunt a few months ago, and yeah, I've actually had a really good time with this one. It's one of those ones I always wanted to play, but I was always told it wasn't worth picking up because it was so expensive compared to the Steam edition. That is still the case, but now I'm going for a Nintendo Switch collection. I thought it was high time that I picked it up, and this is one that I think is absolutely essential for people to add into their collection. It's such a great game. Now there is a new edition that is coming for the Nintendo Switch 2 which I will eventually upgrade to, but for now Binding of Isaac is a nice addition to the quest. Another one that I picked up, and again this is the one that I picked up, I saw so many times in one CEX game hunt, and that was Ghostbusters the video game remastered. Now I played Ghostbusters the video game back on the Wii back in the day, and it's not a title that I really thought of since. However, I eventually caught up and watched Ghostbusters Frozen Empire and had a decent time with it, and you know what, I thought it was high time that I returned to Ghostbusters. Now this is a remake of the PS3 version, and I've had a decent time with it. It is a little bit fiddly to get into it, but yeah, I've enjoyed my time when I've played it. Another game that I picked up, and I think it wasn't at the CEX, but I remember it being around the same time, was Trails Through Daybreak, The Legend of Heroes. Now this is one that I had on my list. I love the Trails series, and the Nintendo Switch offerings have been hit and miss. I'm now missing Trails Through Daybreak 2, and I believe I'm missing the other one, the most recent one that came on the Switch 2, which is a Game Key card. I bought it on the PlayStation because I wanted to play it, and I've just never seen the Game Key card in stock. It's a Game Key card, so we're not necessarily focusing on them, but yeah, this is a game I absolutely enjoyed my time with. Very long game, these Trails games always are, but it's one that I absolutely am chuffed to bits to actually have in my collection. Now, if I remember rightly, I bought this on Amazon the day after I saw it, simply because it was cheaper. And this is the problem I find, you see them in CEX, then you go looking online, and it's cheaper online. Yeah. Next up, we're coming to a title that I had never played until most recently. And this is another one that I picked up, I believe, at North Shield CX a few months ago, and this is a title that at the time was rising and rising in price. I haven't checked, and I will look to see if it actually has changed in price since then. I'll put in a little bottom here. Hades. Now, Hades 2 came out on the Switch too, and I'm going to be honest, I own it, but I've never really played it. But I'm absolutely loving my time with this title. This game got Game of the Year a few years ago, and I can certainly see why. I've played it, and I have absolutely loved, and I mean loved, my time with it. Absolutely fantastic one. Another one that I picked up, which I haven't really delved too much into, and this was the one that was interesting because I went to Gateshead Metro Centre CX, and this one was a cover reprinted, and I was like, oh no. But then I went to Games Galaxy Megastore, our local big massive retro megastore that we have up in Concert, and I picked up Warriors Oratory Ultimate 4, and it was £24. I was absolutely chuffed to bits to get that one. Warriors games are always a nice little fun addition to the game collections. They're always really fun, bit mindless, but always a fun time to play them. The next one was one that I picked up on a trip down to Doorway to Darkness. Now, I did a video on that, I think that was back in August, September time last year, and while I was a little bit hit and miss with the store, I did pick up a fantastic edition. An edition that was on my list and I just didn't think I would ever find it. Shin-chan, Me and the Professor on Summer Vacation, The Endless 7-Day Journey. And I'm going to be honest, this was, I think this was a limited run release, but I think it also had a general Asia release. But we actually got the sequel, we got the Shin-chan and the Coal Mine Town. That actually got a release over here. So, yeah, I was absolutely chuffed to bits to find that one, at least on the shelves, and it was a decent price as well. It was a nice decent price for the addition to the game collection. I haven't had really much of a chance to play it, which is a huge shame. Another grail, and this one was a grail at the time, was Langrisa 1 and 2. And now this is one that I think at the time you just couldn't find anywhere, and this was another good old Washington CEX find. Always seem to find great Switch games in there, at least I was anyway. And yeah, this was just another addition to that, to another RPG, but a little bit like Fire Emblem kind of stuff. But it's not on the same level, I don't think. I have been enjoying it, but not to the same level as Fire Emblem. I kind of got a little bit overwhelmed in the first few maps. It's one I really want to go back to and try a little bit more of. So the next two titles are actually ones I picked up at Game, and that is Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition and Risen. This is proof that, well, you might see games that are not necessarily on the list. I did not realise that these games were actually out on the Nintendo Switch, and that has been the biggest pitfall of this 100 game challenge, because I did it and I filled up 100 games that I wanted to play and added a bunch of titles that I wanted to own, but I wasn't like desperate for example, the Lego games. I also added titles which I was just like, oh, well, I can't get these like in shops, and I am finding it is hard to find a lot of, especially newer titles, actually in CEXs, and or even like Game or Smiths and stuff like that. It's always ended up being online jobs. And these two titles, well, they're nice additions to the collection. They're not exactly ones that I think is a must-haves for the collection, but it's always great to have more titles. Another one that I picked up late last year, and this was in a Amazon Prime deal or something like that, Let's School. Now this was one that I just kind of looked at and I was just like, you know what, it's a management simulation. And yeah, this one is a very difficult game. It's very traditional Japanese school. So obviously you build a school, you put things together, you put together like lesson plans and stuff like that. This is very similar to another game which we will talk about in the near future in the same video. But yeah, I like this. I actually had a good time with this one. It's one that I just never, I don't think I even mentioned that I picked it up. I can't remember, it's been a while, but yeah, I've been enjoying this one. It's very different. It's not easy to get into, but very rewarding as well. The next one, this is one that, this is Bayonetta 1 and 2. Now, Bayonetta 2 seems to jump up in price in CEX, and even online it seems to have jumped up. Now, this says it includes the download code. I bought a pre-owned, it doesn't include the download code. And this is the only way you can kind of get it. I think this is about £28, I think, at the at the time of buying. I don't know how much it is at the moment, but yeah, it's Bayonetta 2. This is a fantastic Wii U game, an absolutely fantastic addition to anybody's Switch collection. Doesn't have Bayonetta 1, but I know you can get Bayonetta 1 as a separate physical release, which I have yet to purchase. Naughty, naughty me. Again, in Washington CX was another title I didn't expect to pick up, and that is A Hat in Time. Now, I actually own this game so many times. I think I backed it on Kickstarter originally. I got it on the PC, I think it was on the Wii U, or did it not get put on the Wii U? I've got it on the PlayStation, and now I've got it on the Nintendo Switch. It's one that I think was a limited release. I could be wrong with that, but it's one I did pick up. I bought it at the time, hadn't seen it before, and then I think I've seen it in just about every single CEX since. And it's gone cheaper and cheaper, of course. But yeah, a nice little addition to the collection there. Next one, this is one that I was really chuffed to find, and that is Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the Necrodancer, including Legend of Zelda. Now, this is literally a forgotten Zelda game. This is a rhythm-based Zelda game, and I own this digitally, and as soon as I saw that this was in, I was like, this has got to be one I'd pick up. An absolutely fantastic release, and if you are collecting Nintendo Switch, I would strongly recommend trying to find this one, because this is one that I've just seen go up and up in price, and I don't see it getting any kind of re-release or anything like that. Obviously, it was a collab edition. I think the normal Crypt of the Necrodancer is even more expensive as well, but yeah, if you want the Zelda one, absolutely fantastic release, rhythm based one. It's got a lot of really banging Zelda tunes and stuff like that, and I believe this actually had the soundtrack still included as well. Brilliant. Another more recent one, and this one is one that I picked up in the last haul, Snufkin Melody of Moomin Valley. I haven't had much of a chance to play this one. It's just a nice little comfy Moomins based game. It's one that I wanted in the collection for something being unique. I just haven't had the chance to play it, which is a huge shame. I always like to try and play them, so yeah. Another title that I did not think I would ever find, and I don't think I even added into my collection of things to buy, simply because I was just like, yeah, it's not going to happen, I'm never going to find it. And then it came up online, and that title is Undertale. So what can I say about Undertale that has not been said before? Well, you know, it's the Earthbound inspired indie sensation that just took the internet by storm about a decade ago. And like I said in the pickup video, I didn't really have much nostalgia for it. I played it, I liked it, but it wasn't like my cup of tea. I've been replaying it, and it is a lot better than I remember it being. I don't know why I just didn't gel with it the first time, but yeah, this is an absolutely fantastic one. Absolutely chuffed to bits. It was an Amazon purchase. Obviously, I can't show every single thing because obviously if I'm buying stuff off Amazon. But yeah, this is one that I'm really chuffed, and it just goes to prove that I might as well just add stuff onto the collection, just to kind of like, obviously games I actually genuinely want to play, because even if I'm buying them online, you know, it's still getting added to the collection, isn't it? The next one, again, I haven't had a chance to play this one. This is one that was on the list to pick up. Detective Code Reincode. Mystery Detective Archive Reincode. And yeah, this is a detective game. I've talked about this one time and time again. I've came across this in CX so many times. But yeah, this is one that I've really been wanting to play. I'm going to try and play it soon. Back to the Doorway to Darkness haul video, and we picked up another one as well. This is the one that I wasn't on the list, but as soon as I saw it, I had to add it in. That is Big Farmer, and this is the manager edition. So Big Farmer is a game that I played on the PC way back when, and it's like a kind of like a drug building, factory building title. Yeah, it's one that's not going to fit for every single person, but it's one that I've had a really good time with, and this is the managerial edition. So this includes the DLC. It did not come with the origami piece of paper, which is a bit of a shame, but you know, I'm sure this was like £6 or £7 or something like that. It's something ridiculously cheap. And I was like, you know what? You see a Switch game, a decent Switch game for under £10, you add it to the collection. And another one, this is back to Games Galaxy, and that is Skyrim. Skyrim is one that I think was an early Switch release. This included obviously all the DLC, and it includes the Zelda DLC. That's right, they did some Zelda stuff for Skyrim. And you know what? Skyrim is one of those games that I can go back to. I last played it when it first came out on the PlayStation 3, and it didn't work at the time. Dragons flying backwards and all kinds of stuff. But I put this on, and I was like, I am going to sink so many hours into this. I literally had to stop myself because I knew I was going to sink another 100+ hours into this game. Being on the Switch, even more dangerous. Annoyingly, this has actually had a Switch 2 release. It's not got a physical release, otherwise I would have upgraded. But yeah, this actually has a Switch 2 release with more content on, so a little bit annoying, but I got it physically. I like to have it physically where possible. So 2 more games that I added, and these are big box ones. And the first one is one that you guys saw me pick up a while ago in Newcastle CEX, and that is The Witcher 3 Complete Edition. It's The Witcher 3, much like Skyrim. It's one of those titles where it's like everybody knows it. It's like everybody's played it at some point. And the Switch Edition is a very competent version of it as well. I don't know if it's actually getting a Switch 2 upgrade. I don't think it did at the time when I had played it. Will double check. But yeah, I started it I started it, haven't played it. This is a problem. I think I'm starting these games, playing about an hour or so of them, not going back to them, annoyingly. A game I have sunk a lot of hours into though, and this was originally on the Nintendo Switch release list. A-Train. So A-Train is not a game for everybody, much like Big Pharma. This is a train management simulation game, and it's very in-depth. It is very over-the-top complicated. So this is the tourism edition. It actually comes with like a little tourism like guidebook as well, which is a nice little addition. It also came with a mouse mat. So this is actually one of the few games that actually does focus on the mouse controls, something that was hyped up for Nintendo Switch 2 and very rarely implemented, and it's a good addition to that as well. A very good addition indeed. This is one that I'm really looking forward to playing more of. I've sank about 10 hours into it, but I want to sink in a lot more. It's very in-depth. It's not as simple as kind of, you know, like SimCity and stuff like that where you can get up and running. It's one that you do need to concentrate. The tutorial is very quick. It goes through stuff like at a breakneck pace. And yeah, it's just one of those ones where I think it's not going to be for everybody, but for me it was a fantastic addition. So a few more titles that I picked up. Now these weren't necessarily titles that were actually on the list, but this is the joy of the Nintendo Switch. This is a collection that can keep evolving, and this is why I've only got 20 off my list, because quite simply there are so many games that I could add and just add and add and add to the list. So these titles are, first up, Victory Heat Rally. Now this is a game I mentioned a few weeks ago, so good I bought it twice. I got this as a limited run one, and I also got the UK release, which actually includes like a poster and a keyring. This is a retro focused racing game / rally game, and is absolutely fantastic. I am absolutely loving it. The visuals are absolutely beautiful. The racing is very fast, it's very madcap, and somebody who is definitely getting into racing games, this is one that I've just loved playing time and time again. Definitely a hidden gem on the system. Something else that I didn't really bother with adding onto the collection was stuff like Devolver Digital and Fangamer. Now I have picked up a few Devolver and Fangamer titles, one of which being Crow Country, and I've mentioned time and time again, I've never really gotten into the Resident Evil series. Silent Hill was not a franchise I had grown up. This Crow Country is a harken back to the old style of Resident Evil and old classic horror games. I fell in love with this. So it doesn't have the tank control, so you actually have a little bit more movement with your character, but it's very much, if you want classic Resi game, this should be on your list to pick up. This is one that wasn't on my list. I didn't even realise it was getting a physical at the time. It's one I definitely enjoyed, and it's opened up the door for me looking to pick up as many Fangamer products as I can. Undertale, we've got UFO 50, we've got the Pete's Tower, there was another one, the 20XX and 30XX, plenty more titles. Now another one that was an import, and this was a bit of a faff for an import, is Final Fantasy X and X-2. So Final Fantasy X and X-2 is an interesting one because in the UK release only includes 10 on cart. X-2 is DLC. In Japan and in China, they're all on cart. So Japan, China is in Asian territories. Yeah, I think I've heard rumours that the American one now is all on cart, but I can't confirm. But yeah, this is one, Final Fantasy X is one of my favourite Final Fantasies. X2, I love Final Fantasy X2. I actually, I really do. But yeah, it's a HD remaster. I've sank a good few hours into X, and I was playing it over Christmas, and kind of Christmas happened and I got new games and never went back to it. Shame on me, but I'm really chuffed I got that one. The next one is another 2-pack, and that is Digimon Story Collection Cyber Sleuth. So Digimon has kind of had a little bit of a resurgence with the popularity of the most recent game. So yeah, I'm chuffed to have picked this one up because I have noticed that the Digimon games have increased in price. I picked this one up from Cash Converters. I believe this was £20. I've not seen this anywhere under £30 at the moment. I know I was in CX not long ago, and I'm sure it was £30 for this one. They had another one for about £45, and I think even the Digimon Survive, which I think was £8 at one point, is now like 20 quid. So yeah, Digimon titles, if you want them, now's a good time to pick them up. Let's not forget Hololive Hanafuda, one of the very few collector's editions that I have deemed worthy to be in my collection, and a beautiful one at that. I did a full unboxing of this one a few months ago. Go check out that video if you haven't already. Absolutely beautiful release for a beautiful, beautiful game. So that is the state of the Nintendo Switch collection. I think 20 games out of 100, it may not have been everything, but we are getting a lot of fantastic games. We're getting a lot of games that I didn't expect to pick up. We've imported a lot of games. There are games I haven't even shown on here, such as Switch 2 releases. We've got stuff like Dragon Quest 1 and 2. We've got a few others that I've picked up which weren't on the list because they weren't announced at the time. But the Switch collection is still very much in full swing. I have learned over the last few months that game collecting doesn't necessarily go the way you expect it. Cover reprints, lack of stock, shelves absolutely bare. It doesn't help that fact that I'm collecting Nintendo Switch, but I'm also going for a full N64 loose collection. GameCube, oh, we're finding GameCube games all the time, and I'm not sure whether I'm going for 100% as of yet, but we're going to go for a very big GameCube collection. And if that's what you're interested in, most recent video we went back to Games Galaxy and found an absolutely fantastic rare GameCube game that had been sitting under my nose time and time again. And if you want to see how my GameCube collection's going, this video up here will send you over there. See you over there. Enjoy your cup of tea.